Welcome to Order Up, the Final Order Cutoff Show. We are here with an awesome show where we're not only going to be talking about all the new comics on Final Order Cutoff this Monday, May 12th, but we have an incredible guest, one of the big movers and shakers at Marvel. He is back with one of the biggest titles, so don't miss out on an interview with Sam Humphries. We'll get to that and all the comics on FOC this week right after this intro. Hi everyone, I'm Mathias Lewis, and I'm here to talk to you about FOC, or Final Order Cutoff. It is the last chance that we, the comic retailers, have to finalize our orders for comics releasing roughly 3 to 6 weeks out from the Mondays we finalize our orders. We deal with this every Monday, but this is important to you, the consumer, because it is the perfect time to reach out to your local comic shop if you want any specific or guaranteed items. If you want the Jim Lee or Dan Mora covers of Justice League Unlimited, reach out to your local comic shop and let us know. If you want the new issue of Lilo and Stitch, this is the perfect time to tell us. Because as long as you can get us the orders before Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that will give your local comic shop retailer enough time to finalize that order, adding in whatever it is you want, so they can guarantee when it releases, we have a copy set aside waiting for you. So, always reach out to your local comic shop before 6 p.m. on Mondays with the comics you want. The sooner, the better, to guarantee they're waiting for you. All right, and this week we are focusing on comics that are on Final Order Cutoff Monday, May 12th, and we got quite a few interesting ones. A lot of this week is going to be continuing ongoing series, so as always, you can check everything that is on Final Order Cutoff on these two websites. previewsworld.com/finalordersdue will give you everything from Image to Marvel, Dynamite, Dark Horse, and IDW. But if you want to check DC, Mad Cave, or an in-depth look at some of the items from Image and other publishers, you want to go to lunardistribution.com. Now, we'll go through both websites with you guys, and we're going to talk about some of the big highlights, the big number ones, the hot covers and storylines, and in the case of Marvel, quite a bit, because while many of these publishers seem to be continuing to hold the line with this week's FOC, Marvel decided to throw some big movers and shakers our way. So that is why we have an incredible guest later on the show with Sam Humphries to talk about one of the biggest new Marvel books on FOC this week. Now, with that said, I have my wonderful co-host and producer in the way of Jay with me today. How are you doing, Jay?
Doing great. Kind of weird back here, but doing great.
It wouldn't be a live show if it wasn't a little weird in the technical booth.
That's crazy.
All right. So we're going to load up previewsworld.com/finalordersdue, where you can see all the various books that are on FOC this week. And we're going to dive into it with Image Comics. One of the first ones I want to bring up is the complete Witchblade. You can get it in softcover and hardcover. This is volume 4, which is where Ron Mars started his epic run of Witchblade that I think transformed the character in the biggest way since her creation with Mark Silvestri, David Wohl, Brian Haberlin, and others. So that is a great trade to dive into. And I mean, $30 for a complete collection that has almost 30 issues in it, not a bad way to go. But the big one to draw attention, if you didn't already grab it this week, is Aubrey Sitterson's Free Planet. Second printing is coming out with FOC this Monday, and it has a brand new cover featuring the very large cast of characters that build up
Free Planet. This was a really big one. I know our regular producer and co-host Kyle was all about it, bought multiple copies of this. I am so looking forward to issue number 2. And again, if you didn't grab number 1, now's your chance to get that second printing. But of course, always reach out to your local comic shop. They may still have some first printings waiting for you. Another big one. Speaking of later printings, Image is loving those right now. G.I. Joe number 1 gets a 4th printing. This time, once again, you're getting the full team. It's almost like Free Planet and G.I. Joe could be similar. In fact, Aubrey has written both at one point in time. But no, this is the Energon Universe G.I. Joe. And awesome new cover as we hit a 4th printing. Of course, not to be outdone, another part of the Energon universe, the Transformers, gets a 12th printing of their number 1. It's crazy that they're on 24 issues and are now at 12 printings of number 1. It seems like every other issue of Transformers leads to a new printing of Transformers number 1, and they're still selling out with high demand because Daniel Warren Johnson is just a master when it comes to these robots in disguise. So if for any reason you have not committed to the Energon universe, easy way to dive in, get these newest printings of Transformers and G.I. Joe. If you already have it, well, let's be honest. Why not have a 50th copy of Transformers number 1 with the newest cover and new printing? A beautiful Howard Porter piece there. So I know I'm committing to probably my 50th copy. I mean, you're enjoying the Energon universe, right, Jay?
I have yet to start it. And that's
Oh,
that's that's not because I'm not excited for it, but I missed out on a lot of the stuff so far, so I'm waiting for the trades and stuff to start coming out so I can just read it all at one time. But I mean, Transformers and GI Joe, those were staples of my childhood. So I'm excited that they're finally joining together. I just haven't jumped on board just yet.
well, perfect chance right now. You can grab those new printings. And if you want to remember it, though, as you did as a child, G.I. Joe Real American Hero continues that 1980s Marvel series, now hitting issue 317, which you can put on FOC this week. As always, we implore you, if you want one of these things, specifically if you want a very specific cover or issue you aren't perhaps already subscribed to at your local comic shop, reach out to your local comic shop as soon as possible with any of those requests. So that way they can make sure they are set aside waiting for you. Now, one that I think deserves a lot more attention right now is Lost Fantasy. This first issue came out the past week. It has been amazing. We even had a second printing on FOC last Monday. Issue number 2 is now on FOC, and I think this is awesome. It's John Constantine meets Cloud from Final Fantasy. But a lot of continuing Image series that you guys likely know all about. Of course, those wonderful Ghost machines like Rockefellers continuing on. Spawn, small series no one's ever really heard of, but I'm pretty sure I'm lying there. And you guys all either subscribe to it or not. But one I want to point out, it hasn't been in print in over 20 years. Shadows of Spawn, issues 1 through 3, collected in a manga style, $18. This is a really cool one as Juzo Tokoro does his take on Al Simmons. So really fun if you're a manga fan, if you like anime and you want a unique take on Spawn. This is, I think, a really cool way to go. I am amazed it has been 20 years out of print, but I am excited to see it come back. 600 pages, $18. And for you Spawn fans, a must-have. For those who are interested in Spawn, an easy and cool entry point. We also have the final issue of The Moon is Following Us on FOC, as we get other reprints from Transformers, Void Rivals, and G.I. Joe. So Image has a lot of continuation, but a lot of easy jumping on points and a lot of great things, as they usually do. Check out previewsworld.com/final orders due to see all that. Boom Studios. Now, Previews World is hiding Boom Studios in different places. As you can see, it looks like there's only one thing on FOC. Don't worry. If you go down to the indie comics section, you will see notable more, and we'll talk about a few of those a little bit later. But the big one I want to dive into is Marvel. There is a lot to talk about with Marvel this week. From second printings of the new Amazing Spider-Man series with number 2 to brand new series like Avengers Academy. Now, Avengers Academy is an interesting one. I love the original Avengers Academy by Christos Gage and Mike McComb. This one is a digital first comic finally coming to print by Anthony Oliveira. This one has perhaps the most unique and unexpected group of heroes. You're getting everyone from Blade's daughter, Bloodline, the Captain America of the Railways, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, the new Kid Juggernaut, Red Goblin. It's a bunch of second generation and sidekick heroes that you would never think to merge together in their own Avengers group. But that has me all the more intrigued. Now, some of you might have read this as digital first, but if you're like me and you only wait for the physical, I'm excited to give this a shot. I don't have the highest hopes, if I'm being honest, on it, but with the first appearance of the all new Sinister Six, I'm definitely curious to give this a shot and hope that this could be something big. We'll see if it leads to something notably larger. But Avengers Academy on FOC, single cover, which is a rare thing for Marvel, so it should be an interesting way to go. Then multiple Deadpool books in the way of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe and Deadpool Wolverine. I feel it's Deadpool's time to cross over with just about everyone. I mean, Jay, is there a Deadpool character or a character that Deadpool hasn't crossed over yet that you're waiting for?
I don't think so, but here's what I'm going to say about this book. I'm excited for it, obviously. I'm a big Deadpool fan. But how many, yeah, like when they say the last time, is it really going to be the last time? Like, when are we going to get Marvel Kills Deadpool or something like that? Like,
Ooh, I would read that. Yeah.
definitely. It's just like the entire universe getting together and killing the multiverse of Deadpools. Just saying, Marvel. Just saying.
There it is. So when Jay has his big Marvel debut next year, we'll make sure he's on the FOC show to talk it up. And then so Deadpool Wolverine, it's issue number 6. It's got Nick Fury Sr. back. That's somebody we haven't seen in a while. Everything seems interesting. Strife, Cable, Deadpool, Wolverine. But there's a spoiler cover by Image co-founder and master artist Will Spertasio, and that has me particularly excited. I don't know what's going to be on this spoiler cover, and yes, Marvel's been putting out a lot of spoiler covers recently, so maybe it's not even a big deal. But we don't know what's on this cover, and it is Image co-founder, big deal Marvel artist of the 80s and 90s, Will Spertasio. I think this could be something worth paying attention to, and it might be worth letting your local comic shop know if you're interested. Um, I'm really just locked in on that. I'm curious as to what it could be. I mean, Jay, if you were to speculate, I mean, what do you think Welsh will be drawing on there? Maybe Gambit makes an appearance.
I would love if that was just the cover. If it was just a big, I mean, it's on point for Deadpool. It just being a huge troll, and that's the cover. I would love that. I'm not sure. Like if anything, I would throw on a random character just again to troll like Deadpool. Maybe we get Boom Boom or it's like Hawkeye or somebody just random.
I'd be ecstatic with Boom Boom. That is a great character, and I mean, with the Secret Wars movie on the way, who knows? X-Men in the MCU, maybe we could get a Boom Boom. All right. So next up, we had these wonderful guests a few short weeks ago. Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly are continuing their giant size crossover event with giant size. Whoops, sorry, I'm on the wrong giant size. Giant size Dark Phoenix Saga. This is the second of the 5 giant size one shots as Kamala Khan travels through X-Men history to affect these major moments in time. Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly on the pair on this. If you didn't already go to your local comic shop and grab the Fantastic Four free comic book day with the giant size X-Men backup, just know that giant size X-Men number 1 is coming out soon. So all the more reason you're going to want to get your orders in for these various one shots. And there are some stunning, stunning covers on the giant size Dark Phoenix Saga. Just look at that from Talavera, Lee Garbett. There's even a spoiler cover on that by Stephanie Hans. Who knows what's going on there? Because maybe Kamala Khan becomes the next Phoenix. If that happened, it's not a spoiler. I didn't know, But wouldn't that be a twist? Yeah, I'm most curious on this. But you guys saw, because I accidentally revealed it, there's another giant size on FOC this week. Giant size, amazing Spider-Man. Look at that great Greg Capullo cover there. Now, there's a lot going on with this. Kevin Smith is writing a story. Kevin Smith back on Amazing Spider-Man. It's been years, actually decades, since he did a Marvel comic, let alone an Amazing Spider-Man comic. And I cannot wait for that. I can't imagine that, Jay, you're not a huge fan of Kevin Smith.
Here's what I tell people when it comes to Kevin Smith. Say what you will about his movies. I'm a Kevin Smith fan. You can't deny the man can write a comic book. Like his Green Arrow alone is one of my favorite runs. I have the collected edition of that on my shelf. I love Kevin Smith's writing.
Yeah, I mean, he has the upcoming Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob. He obviously has his own line of books over at Dark Horse. But the fact that he is back at Marvel with one of the greatest Marvel characters, I am ready to see Kevin Smith give Peter some Parker luck. But that's not the only thing. You're also going to be getting a new Al Ewing story that goes through the history of Spider-Man. And then the big one is Chip Zdarsky has a story, and they're introducing a new character that, as you can see from that little cover blurb, introduces a new character that will change the future of Marvel Comics. Now, it's Chip Zdarsky. That could be some tongue-in-cheek hyperbole. It's Marvel. Marvel loves their hyperbole. But what if it's real? What if this is the true big first appearance? I mean, Kevin Smith, Al Ewing, Chip Zdarsky, no matter what, for $8, you're getting a jam-packed, awesome issue that you won't want to miss out on. But if that is a true big first appearance, all the more reason, maybe even order 2 or 3 copies. Worst case scenario, it's not the big first appearance, and you get to spread some awesome comic love with your friends because you have a great Kevin Smith and Chip Zdarsky story. But one way or another, I think this one's going to be a big one. I am super excited on that. And then we do have 4 great covers. You know, the Lieber Mayhew, Mark Bagley, and Scott Hepburn. All sorts of fun there. I mean, I think I'm all in for the Great Capullo A cover, but who knows? Like, is there a particular cover you're after on that one, Jay?
It would have to be the Lieber Mayhew one. His work is just it's like it's Alex Ross like for me.
Oh, I love
And
this.
if you've ever seen if you've ever read I always forget the name. Is it Vicious Circle? Is the book
Yes.
that he was drawing? I love that book, man. The art in that book looks so photorealistic. It's insane. I love his work.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention that Brian Azzarello stuff like Luther and
Yeah,
Joker, those things were amazing.
yeah.
Um, yeah, there's a few articles going around right now where they posted one of Lieber Mayhew's intros to one of the books that was only in the European editions. And if you get a chance to Google that up, it is amazing to read how open Lieber Mayhew was, and it had me all excited to sit down and reread those classic DC villain stories. So now, as if all of that wasn't enough, second printings of Godzilla versus Spider-Man, Magic just going crazy with her second story arc as she teams up with Magdalene Pryor to maintain control of Limbo. The big one is Marvel Rivals because it is one of the best video games on the market right now. Never have I seen anything drive more non-comic readers into a comic shop than this video game, Marvel Rivals. So I'm excited about the new Marvel Rivals miniseries, Ignite, which drives us in through Peach Momoko writing and art. Peach did a series of skins for the Marvel Rivals video games, and now we're getting the comic stories backing those. It is going to be an anthology series with multiple writers, multiple artists, and multiple characters. You're going to get Peach Momoko bringing the characters to Japan. You'll have Psy versus Venom, Yuji Kaku versus Frank Castle, Yuji Kaku. Yeah, it would be really interesting if Yuji Kaku fought one of the characters. So Yuji Kaku is writing Punisher versus Penny Parker and Spider. And then, of course, we get Luna Snow versus Hela. Some of the most popular characters right now in the Marvel Rivals video game, you're getting those new skins being shown off in the story. Marvel Rival fans are going to be out in droves trying to grab this. So I would lay odds your local comic shop is not ordering enough. All the more reason to guarantee your copy, especially with such great covers on there. I mean, beautiful, beautiful covers from Momoko, Nogi-san, Stan Sakai, and Toki Tokoro. Great covers. I'm probably going to buy multiple. This is going to be awesome. And I guarantee you, there are people who don't watch this show, unfortunately, who are playing Marvel Rivals right now. They're going to hear about it a week or two after the comic comes out, and they're going to go crazy trying to get it. So retailers might be worth upping your order, and then fans guarantee your copies by letting your local comic shop know. Then we have New Avengers right here. For those of you guys who saw the Thunderbolts movie, you will know why this is relevant. And we'll be talking a little bit more about this when Sam joins us in a short bit. But woo, New Avengers. I just want to show it off. We'll get the full description on when we bring Sam on in a little bit. But this one is going to be a big one. A lot of great covers on that and a great story that we'll be talking about momentarily. But let's dive back. Speaking of superhero teams, we obviously have the new champions. This has been, honestly, I think, underselling compared to what it should be. This is a great new series. And on top of that, is Kyle here? Did I just see Kyle come in?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to announce the old champions as a team up. Like, I mean, we had Old Man Logan, we had Old Man Deadpool, we had Old Man Wolverine, like all of those. Let's do old champions or
Old champions.
all geriatric Avengers.
Old champions going to be like super future Avengers like 28.5?
Yes, yeah, 100%. But it's like, they had the Scotty Young baby covers. Like, I want a whole thing of like Avengers with walkers and canes and Hawkeye with an oxygen mask.
I could really see, I mean, let's face it. We had Old Man Logan. We currently have Old Man Daredevil in a way of the Cold Day in Hell. Clearly, the geriatric line of Marvel Comics is working its way into pop culture.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Spider-Man with Dr. Octogenarian.
Well, we just had Spider-Man Reign 2. So, yes, these are, man, I guess, there is a large part of comics readership that is aging. And, now we're at that point, geriatric comics. That's going to be it.
I hate myself for making that joke, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, like it sounds like a commercial that you may or may not have produced for the experience, but maybe that's just a lifestyle choice, Kyle.
It is. It really is. I had to come in because Jay was having some technical problems, and now that it seems like Jay is back, I'm going to bail. But good luck with Sam, and everybody have a good day. Go to your local comic shop and buy some stuff.
Love you, Kyle. Hope you're doing well.
See you later.
All right. So, yeah, new champions. Obviously, I think this is an underselling and underperforming book for being as amazing as it is. And after just talking about Avengers Academy, there's some more kid juggernaut right there on New Champions 6 with the great Megan Hederick Pride variant, reminding you all Pride Month in June. So there's going to be some great Pride covers. Then we continue. We're at the halfway point of One World Under Doom. It is crazy that this is a huge 9-issue event, and we're coming up to the halfway point on orders. So all the more reason I have to show off this stunning E.M. Gist cover. Look at that great E.M. Gist cover of Doom sitting on the throne, Sorcerer Supreme with the cape and everything. If you want, there's even an official trailer you can watch on Previews World. I'm not going to throw it up here, but you guys can watch it on your own time right there. And that will be an awesome one. Another big new series coming out from Marvel. Like I said, Marvel's throwing a lot at you this week on FOC. Everyone else, by comparison to Marvel, is going to seem like a simple, calm, final order cutoff week. But Marvel said, nope, we are throwing everything plus the kitchen sink and the Runaways your way. So the Runaways are back. I don't think they're kids anymore, so I don't know if they can still be called the Runaways. They're no longer, these self-emancipating children. They're pretty much adults now. So I don't know that they're runaways. They're just, kids who actually live on their own, which is difficult in the modern era. Let me tell you, rent's not cheap. Rainbow Rowell is back for a 5-issue miniseries tying into One World Under Doom. where we are getting all of our favorite characters back: Chase, Alex, Carolina, and Niku. Niku has had definitely better times, so it is exciting to see where things are going and what's going on. Speaking of which, with Pride Month in June, a perfect time to jump because you have a lot of wonderful LGBTQ positive characters in the Runaways, some great covers right there. I'm really excited. Even Peach Momoko coming out. So Runaways, I think, well worth a 5-issue tap with Rainbow Rowell and Elena Casagrande on artwork. Not to mention continuing wonderful Star Wars tales. We get the second omnibus hardcovers of the Old Republic. If you love Knights of the Old Republic video games and you want more of that era, way before Yoda was even born, those are books for you. A lot of wonderful continuing titles. So make sure you check out previewsworld.com/final orders due to talk Marvel. But we had one that we set up for you guys and we didn't talk about because we had a special guest. A brand new book from Marvel. I want to introduce a amazing figure in comics who has been writing for years. The brilliant, the incomparable Sam Humphries.
Yo, 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 King.
Whoa, was that that was an interesting mic drop. Everything good on Sam's mic? Oh, do we have audio there? Jay?
You're a little roboticized on your side, boss.
Come back in, okay?
We just have the best audio imaginable for Sam this entire one. Hold on, we're gonna see if Sam will pop back in, and that might actually work. What we didn't realize is that Sam's side hustle is he is the leader of the Energon universe and maybe a Decepticon.
Hello, hello. Is that better?
There it is. There we go. Welcome back, Sam.
Yes, King. How are you, Mathias?
I am doing good. It has been a while since I've seen you last.
I was trying to think about it today. Like, when could it have possibly been? How long ago could it have possibly been since I saw you? I feel like maybe it was WonderCon. I'm gonna try and figure out what year it was. Maybe like 2018.
I want to say it was
2019.
Yeah.
It was pre-pandemic for sure.
Yeah, because it was. I believe you were definitely at this massive height of superstardom, doing things like Harley Quinn, Blackbird, Dial H for Heroes, Green Lanterns. You wrote a little bit of everything from Boom to DC to Marvel.
That's right. And, Image. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's been a little silent recently. I mean, well, we had that incredible Power Rangers Infinity, which I love to death. As well as
thank
Firefly.
you.
What has led to this? You took like a brief vacation from comics, and now you're back at full force at Marvel.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I call it vacationing. I've been hard at work. I have been working. I mean, like you noted, I've still been doing comics. I haven't left comics entirely. I did Firefly and Power Rangers and some other things behind the scenes that are not public yet. But I've also been writing novels myself and my friends Gwenda Bond and Kami Garcia. We sold a 3-book deal to Audible called The Youngbloods, which is a ton of fun to write. I've been working on some video games behind the scenes, which is a lot of fun. I love working in that world. I'm working on one game right now. It's in development. They're public with the game, but I don't know if I'm supposed to mention what my part in it yet. But it's a very cool game. I'm very excited about it. It's very rich characters. So it is right up my alley. And also just been doing a lot of creative development behind the scenes, working with clients who have an IP at some stage of development, and they come to me and they say, help us get this to where we need it to be.
Well, I can understand why they'd come to you. Once again, you have an incredible history. From everything from Fanboys versus Zombies, one of your earlier Boom books.
We go way back.
Oh, Our Love is Real, perhaps one of my favorite pieces.
Our Love is Real.
Crazy one shot that eventually Image picked up that really just gives an interesting perspective and take on the fact that everyone should be able
That's
to
right.
recognize love.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
then you did
absolutely.
crazy things like you've done Avengers before at Marvel with Avengers AI.
I did Avengers AI, that's right, with Andre Lima Araujo, who has gone on to do incredible things. He did a 3-book, like 3 graphic novel series with Bendis called Phenomena, which is phenomenal. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and it's such a fun read. It's like a sci-fi fantasy kind of thing. But Andre and I had an incredible time on Avengers AI. That was like such a great creative synergy, creative partnership. I knew we were in for it right away when we were just sort of chit-chatting over email, and he talked about how much he loved Moebius, and I was like, oh, you're my brother. I love Moebius. Let's inject some Moebius into Avengers and see how that goes.
And that was a time period where we all loved the idea of AI before like the recent years.
Yeah, AI was different back then. AI meant, like either it was like the Terminator, or it meant like something to help, breakthroughs of cancer research. That's what AI was back then. So yeah, it's a funny name now.
Yeah. But then after that, you got to deal with the star of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord, for multiple series.
That's right. Yeah. It was I mean, just a fantastic time to be writing Star-Lord. It was so great. Excuse me. I remember because it was the summer that the first Guardians movie came out. And I think I came out the first issue of Star-Lord was the same month that the movie came out. So I did a signing down in Southern California where it was paired with a screening of the movie, which was a lot of fun. But I was dating a woman just newly at the time, and she was no connection to comics or nerdery or anything like that, which is totally great. But she's like, "Oh, so you write comics?" Like, I was like, "Yeah, we got a new book coming out. It's called Star-Lord." It's like kind of a big deal, like Guardians of the Galaxy. And she was kind of like, "All right." And then literally in between that first date and our second date was when all the huge Guardians of the Galaxy advertisements went up, like the side of a bus, a massive billboard, the entire side of a building. And so on our second date, she's like, "Okay, so you're not full of shit."
It's got to be a fun moment you don't often get in comics where it's like, wow, this is really bigger than I thought.
Yeah, it's fun when, like, your mom understands what it is,
One day I hope to have that realization.
Yeah. Well,
But let's talk about the big one, because you get to have that exact same moment again, because you have a brand new comic that we're FOCing this Monday,
that's right.
Thunderbolts. Oh wait, it's not Thunderbolts.
Nope, psych. What is it?
What could the new Thunderbolts? There's an asterisk right there on that title.
That's
So
right.
could you
There always
give us
has
the idea,
been.
Jay?
There we go. New Avengers. Look at that gorgeous cover by Steven Segovia.
Yeah, that is awesome. So before you talk about the book itself, can you talk to us a little bit about the big title change? Because I mean, it seems like that might have hit a theatrical level too.
Well, this was, a question I've gotten a lot this week is like, when did you know about this? When did you know that the title change was going to happen? And it was from the very first conversations I had about the comic with my fantastic editor, Alana Smith. Shout out, Alana. So this was the plan from the very, very earliest stages, where they kind of opened the kimono a little bit about the title change for the movie, but that was really the only thing I knew about it. I didn't know any secrets about the movie, and it was the plan to do so. I think there was still some logistics at some point to figure out in terms of like, can we change the name of a comic after it's announced, but before it comes out? I think it says in the press release is the first ever time this has ever happened with a comic book. So there's some new paths to blaze, and I think with like distribution databases, and can we carry over, orders that have already been placed? And, I don't know, I'm speculating. I wasn't part of those conversations, but there were some logistics that had to be done. There had to be a fake logo to be made. But as far as on my end, it was there's the fake logo. I mean, it's a gorgeous logo, I gotta say, for never really going to be printed. So this was as far as I was concerned, was a change that was always going to happen. The change was locked in by the time I started the first issue. So had this not been possible or feasible on a logistical level, it would have been a very different book.
Yeah. And just for those who are retailers watching, the book is officially The New Avengers.
That's
so
correct.
If you had anybody pre-order it as Thunderbolts, get into your order sheets, get into your point of sales and change that over. If you are a customer, make sure when you pre-order it as New Avengers. New Thunderbolts would be a different thing in that it won't be there. And if you already told your retailer, it doesn't hurt to remind them. It never
That's
hurts
right.
to remind the retailer. I can tell you from the retailer perspective, we got a lot going on. We just had free comic book day last week. It is a
Big
wonderful
day.
thing to have that reminder.
How was free comic book day at your store?
It was exhaustingly amazing. We had a
Yes.
wonderful turnout. Marvel Rivals, Thunderbolts, and
Mhm.
Superman trailers. Everything has been doing great to drive people to shops, and I hope I am far from alone. Every retailer I talk to, well, they're exhausted and they're cursing Joe Field's name going into the week. By the end, Joe Field basically could be the next pope.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a brief thought when we announced an American pope. Maybe it was Joe Field.
Maybe Joe Field. Maybe Joe Field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free comic day was awesome.
I think that's the price you pay when you come up with something as game changing as free comic book day, that you will go from Satan to saint very quickly in the space of a weekend.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to go visit any shops out there in England for free comic?
I did not. Yeah, I live in London now. I've been in London for 2 years. And I did not. My local comic book store, which I love, it's literally my local store. It's like maybe a 5-minute walk away. It's Krypton Comics. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They are primarily a back issue store, which I absolutely love, because those stores are like a dying breed, and they do primarily most of their business online. They have a storefront that is kind of just like their warehouse in a sense, but they have boxes and boxes and boxes of back issues. They got so many back issues. It's incredible. So it's a beautiful place to go digging in the crates and finding obscure stuff. Great 1-pound boxes, £1 out here, not $1 boxes. And they also have huge stacks of UK reprints of comic books, which I love, particularly in the late 70s, the mid 80s. They would reprint American comics over here in almost a magazine size format. And sometimes I don't think I have one handy. Otherwise, I'd show it off. But
well, the irony is I have boxes of them that I brought over when I moved to America.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. So sometimes you have it's like an issue of Silver Surfer but with incredible John Buscema art, and it's oversized and it's black and white, and to pick it up now it costs like £1. I mean, those things could be such treasures.
So I'm going to be sending you a list of some orders I need you to ship out to me.
Who's the retailer now?
Bags. Finding bags that fit those. I still have those old progs from 2000 AD that I will never be able to find a bag and board for.
Yeah, because they're not quite standard magazine size, are they?
No, they're a little bit over.
Yeah.
We should focus on this amazing book.
Let's talk about New Avengers, which is a standard comic book size.
Yeah.
It will fit right on your racks, your bags and boards, no problem.
But it's not a standard Avengers team. I mean, I hate to say it. When I saw this originally solicited as Thunderbolts, I thought this is a powerful Thunderbolts team. But when it was re-announced as New Avengers, this is probably one of the most unique. You have Carnage, Hulk, Namor, Clea, Laura Kinney, Bucky, and Natasha. This
Yeah.
is a crazy powered team. What is the story of this 7?
Well, very early on came up with a concept, so I knew it was going to be a little bit Thunderbolts, and I just adore the superlative run on Bucky and Thunderbolts that Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly have done. And I knew that we were going to be coming right out of their run and into this title. So I knew Bucky and Natasha were going to be cornerstones of this book right off the bat. But then I started thinking about, past New Avengers runs, and there's some very storied New Avengers runs. And I thought about, the Illuminati. The Illuminati were originally, in a one shot called the Illuminati during Civil War, but it was part of the flow of Bendis's New Avengers. And one of the things I love about the Illuminati is they've got 7 people representing different corners of the Marvel Universe. And I thought, is there a way to take that concept and not do the opposite, not do like the villains, but instead of having these like noble heroes and philosopher kings, like could we do it with, something that has more of like a New Avengers edge to it? Because, New Avengers has always been sort of the underdog team, the scrappy team. In the case of Hickman, the secret team, the secret team with a lot of weight on their shoulders. So I thought, would it be possible to get some like real badasses and bastards from different corners of the Marvel universe and assemble a team that way? So we got Bucky and Natasha. They're from the Avengers world. We have Wolverine. She's from the mutant world. We have Clea. She's representing the magic mystical world. We have Namor, who is representing Namor, because Namor is always number one in his book. But to me, he's also bringing in that flavor of the Fantastic Four family, and then Hulk, of course, from the Hulk, from the Gamma family, and then Carnage from the Spider-Man world. And so this was a concept that I came up with and pitched to Alana, my editor, and bless her, she was on board right away, even though I feel like we both knew in that moment that this was going to be a lot of coordinating on her end, because almost all of these characters belong to other editorial offices in the Marvel structure, right? Like, and this is like part of the concept. Like, part of the concept just bakes in the idea that Alana on a monthly basis is going to have to coordinate with all these different offices, and also on my end, I'm just going to have to take a lot of feedback from other offices and be like, well, this character's not doing that anymore. This character is not quite like that these days, or you know what I mean. And it's kind of like a trade off. And so right off the bat, I was like, I'm just gonna roll with that. It's never gonna be a pain in my ass. It's always just gonna be additive to me, because I really do love this lineup, and I really do love what they bring to the table altogether. More than more than the sum of their parts. They, you just look at that cover again, a gorgeous cover by Steven Segovia. They really do like all together like have a big impact. And another thing is that Jed McKay has been killing it on Avengers, which he recently, I guess maybe over a year ago now, recently started his run on, and he's got an incredible lineup. He's got such a killer lineup. What a great combination of characters and personalities to really play off each other, and I really admired that. But I also wanted our book to stand out from his book. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have 2 Avengers teams on the stand that are like basically the same thing as each other. That goes for X-Men, it goes for Justice League. You know what I mean? Like, each book needs to like justify its place on the stand, because as I'm sure you can tell us, even just this little bit of real estate on a stand is very valuable to retailers, right?
Oh yeah.
So you have.
It makes me question: is one going to overtake the other? Like, I mean, is Jed McKay's Avengers going to still be releasing at the same time as Sam Humphries' New Avengers? What's happening with these two?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, these books fill 2 very different needs, and there's more than enough room in the Marvel universe for both of them. that's never been in question. And you know, this goes back. New Avengers, the very first version of it from you know, Bendis came out of the destruction of the Avengers, the end of the Avengers, but very swiftly, Mighty Avengers was started as a sister title, and those two titles ran concurrently. And again, they had very, very different vibes coming out of Civil War. Mighty Avengers was like the sort of establishment, Tony Stark, superhero registration team, and then New Avengers were like on the run. They were the underground team. And if you fast forward a bit to when Hickman took over the Avengers line, you had Avengers, the main title, and then you had New Avengers as well. And they were sister books and they complemented each other, but both books had plenty to do. They each one had a very large and wide mandate where they could go far afield and do some like crazy, incredible things without stepping on each other's toes.
So you're not going to think that Jed McKay is going to send Sam Wilson with a lawsuit after the New Avengers, where they might have to change their name?
You know, if he does, I have Hulk on the team, so I call dibs on Jennifer Walters as our attorney.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is a powerhouse team. I don't know that
Very
I've
powerful
ever seen an Avengers team that looks this strong. So
Yeah.
what could possibly even be their threat?
Well, great question. Great question. And this was something I came up with very early on as well. Just sort of right on the heels of the concept of this team, where it was like, yeah, one of the benefits of having a team like this is you can pull in influences from all over the Marvel universe. You know, your mandate is not narrowed down to say like the mutant world or things that make sense for Spider-Man to run into or whatever. Like you could theoretically, through any of these characters, pull in things from all over the place. Which is fun. But I thought, like, why don't we do that with our big threat as well? Why don't we have our threat also be a mirror of the Illuminati and the power of that lineup, the power, especially the iconic power of that lineup, right? Because the Illuminati, you have Iron Man, you have Mr. Fantastic, you have Doctor Strange, you have Namor, Black Bolt, Black Panther. You have Professor Xavier. That's it. I think I got them all. And these are they're powerhouses, but they're also very iconic inside and outside the Marvel universe. So I thought, what if there was some way to twist them? What if they weren't just the Illuminati, but they were duplicates of the Illuminati, and they were distorted or demented in some way, shape, or form? So that's what we're dealing with right off the bat, and these are big threats because you know what's more dangerous than Reed Richards is a Reed Richards that's somehow broken and demented and on the loose out there.
Ooh, interesting. So
It's a world-ending threat.
yeah, will we get a reveal of what this evil Illuminati-esque group looks like at the end of a New Avengers #1?
Yes, yeah, we got Ton Lima on art. He's fantastic. He's such a beast. Yeah, I was very excited for him to join the book because I saw, you know, the stuff he's been doing already. He just did an issue of West Coast Avengers with Jerry. So great. I was so excited. And then like the first pages he turned in for this book, I was like, oh, bro, you are stepping it up. You are taking over the stage. You are like, this is my book. No, you know, like he really like started knocking it out of the park right off the bat. And his rendition, he did the designs of the Illuminati, and he does an incredible debut image of the Illuminati. So yeah, and we've already had some peaks because Marvel released some variant covers showing the Illuminati already. But we will see them in the comic by the end of the first issue for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so I mean, you have a powerhouse team. You've got obviously a powerful looking threat.
Yeah.
How far out do you have this planned at this point? Is this looking like you got a year, or are you thinking, you know, this is going to go for the long run, go for, you know, half a decade more?
I mean, if you ask me, this we're going 500 issues. that's how far this book is. No, yeah, I can only control what I can control, and that's the writing and then the brainstorming and taking notes and having ideas and stuff. And I can tell you right now, I'm already diving into the second arc. Already have plans for the third arc, and already have ideas for the fourth and the fifth, and even kind of beyond. It was important to me right off the bat that this wasn't just they're not just the Illuminati hunters, right? Like this isn't just a team that's defined by one specific threat, and then once you take down the threat, their reason to exist is over. No, this is a team that has a reason to be, and they can tackle any threat in the Marvel universe. And again, that goes back to what I was saying about the composition of the team. Like, because Clea's in there, there could be magic-based threats that they take on. Because Hulk is in there, it could be gamma-based threats. It could be all sorts of things. So the sky is really the limit in terms of where this book goes. Like we could go all over the place. We could go all over the Marvel universe. And I have, I'm very, very excited to broaden this book's horizons. So, there's definitely a lot of story to be told. Definitely a lot of arcs planning out. And the key to that, of course, is for people to call up their retailers. Am I right? And tell their retailers that they want a copy of the first issue and pre-order the series on an ongoing basis, and to do so before Monday, which is what? It's FOC.
I love it. There it is. He has it down. So remember, reach out to your local comic shop before Monday, May 12th. Get that order in on New Avengers, not New Thunderbolts, New Avengers.
New Avengers.
I think this is, realistically, you should just title it Toughest Avengers with that, group.
But I think we should just call them the Baller Avengers, right?
Baller Avengers, I like it. Oh, man, that ratio variant right there of Laura.
So good. So good. Yeah. So that's the iconic Wolverine cover.
Yeah. And on that note of Laura there. So obviously the big three that, currently have their other ongoings are, Hulk. I mean, you got Charles Soule doing Eddie Brock Carnage. You have Erica Schultz doing Laura Kinney. I mean, are you working with them at all? So, I mean, it sounds like obviously your editor and you have plans so that nothing contradicts, but will we see crossovers in their solo titles?
There's no firm plans for this yet. I can say, it's been great working with all these teams. I know Charles from way back. So whenever I have a question about, Eddie's new status quo is Carnage, and Carnage's new status quo to Eddie, like I can just text him, and we can jam back and forth like that. And Philip Kennedy Johnson, who's writing Hulk right now, like he has been so open to ideas, and that's been really fantastic. And Erica is kicking ass with the Wolverine book right now, and she's injecting so many great things into the book and doing so many great things with the character, actually keeping me on my toes, where I'm like, oh damn, like I really gotta like keep up. So while there's nothing really on the table right now, we are writing for a shared universe. We are writing for Marvel Comics, and the talent right now is sky high, and the ideas are very fertile. So there might be 1,000 crossover flowers to bloom very soon.
See, and that's the best thing I think as a comic reader and retail we can hear, that this is one universe, but in the same. If you're not reading those individual characters, you can grab Sam's New Avengers and enjoy it on its own. But if you want more, if you need more Laura, if you need more of the Hulk, you can pop off and read those in addition to New Avengers.
Yeah, like New Avengers, no crossovers for the first 10 issues at least. So that's the first 2 arcs. So this will be a book that readers can enjoy on their own. But a skilled retailer out there like yourself will notice somebody enjoying New Avengers and be like, hey, this is a starting point. I can tell you on this title. I can tell you on this. I can tell you on this title, and vice versa. If somebody's really enjoying what Erica's doing on Laura Kinney, be like, you got to check out what Laura, Laura and Namor are not getting along in New Avengers, and I think you need to check it out and see what's going on over there.
I love it. So you're the retailer in this moment. You're behind the register. You got your last chance to pitch the customers right now why they need new Avengers. Give it to us.
I would say that the reason why you need new Avengers is because this is a high octane, high action book with very combustible characters. It's a bunch of characters who should not be in a room together at all. They all have huge personalities, and the interpersonal dynamics are going to be very, very volatile. They're going to be just as volatile or sometimes more volatile than the threats that they're facing, which is, some of those iconic heroes and characters in all of Marvel's histories, but through a twisted mirror. So it's just a lot of explosiveness. It's a Marvel title and a team like you're not going to find anywhere else on the stands. And like I said, it's a starting point for exploring the rest of what's going on in the Marvel universe right now.
Love it. Now, so everyone's hopefully reaching out to their local comic shop, getting a big pre-order on New Avengers.
I can hear them doing it right now. I can hear them. Oh, they're calling them up. I hear them talking on the phone. I hear them texting them. Yes, I hear them on WhatsApp. I hear them emailing as well. Yes, they're saying we need New Avengers. We need one of each cover. Absolutely. And I need a standing order for the entire ongoing. And while I'm at it, I need a standing order for the Hulk. I need a standing order for Carnage. I need a standing order for Wolverine. And oh my God, that Namor book by Jason Aaron just came out. I need the collection for that as well. I can just hear all these retailers saying, yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that.
Oh, I love that you have that super hearing. That has to be a very intense.
Exactly. Power. It's very handy. It's very handy. Makes FOC my favorite day of the week.
Well, then let's see how good your future sense and prophecy are. So once everyone reads New Avengers and they're like, man, I need more Sam Humphries. Where can they track you down so they can check out not only future projects, but some of these projects you've been building up over the last few years, but you weren't able to announce yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the best places to keep up with me are, on social media. I'm at Sam Humphries on Instagram and Twitter, aka X, and Blue Sky and Threads and all those places. So that's a great place to keep up with me because there's been a lot going on behind the scenes, and not every project is as fast as a comic book project, but a lot of exciting stuff coming out very soon.
All right, that sounds amazing. So definitely track Sam down on social media so you can find all these upcoming things. Whatever this secret video game he's working on is going to be, his new Audible with Kami Garcia. I know that the second we're done with this, I'm going to go download that. And then on top of that, get your orders in. I think this is the most excited I've been about an Avengers book since Dark Avengers.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, Dark Avengers was huge. What a great era. So cool.
So, I mean, you can't go wrong, for anybody who's been watching this show long. I mean, when you put Namor on a team, you know that I'm going to bring the creator out to talk about this. This is
Yeah. Namor's so fun to write. I was just writing him earlier today. But thank you. That's a huge compliment. I really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sam. I think we're going to let you go.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on. This is great.
Yeah, dude, thank you. I know it's getting late over there in England, so thank you so much for making the time to be with us.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, dude. And great to see you again. I hope to see you again soon in real life.
Yeah, hopefully at some point we'll be in the same country at the same time again.
Exactly. Well, we'll work it out.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam. All right,
man.
For everyone else, we're going to do a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with Dynamite, the indie books, and everything at Lunar Distribution. But do not forget, perfect time during the commercial break, reach out to your local retailer. Let them know you want New Avengers. It is going to be awesome. Thank you, guys. We will be back after this short break.
Order Battle Quest comics at your local comic shop today.
What do you call the place on Spider-Man's wrists where the webs come out? His website. I hate myself for writing that joke, but you'd make me feel so much better if you just visited our website. We have links to our merch, new release lists, all the show info, and so much more. TheEXPLive.com.
Sure, comic books are beautiful, but underneath, there's something more authentic and exciting. The original art. See the pencils, the lines, the shading, as if you were there in the studio watching the artist work. Getting a peek at comics' backstage is easy with the original art experience.
All right, Friday night, guys. Thank you for being here. To be doing anything, the fact that you're here means the world to me.
Nick's pieces are always value priced with your budget in mind, for the beginning collector to the veteran.
And this is gorgeous. You got Aquaman and Mira.
Join the original art experience with Nick and our friendly crew of regulars, even if it's just to enjoy the art. Fridays at 7. It's all part of the experience.
All right, and we're back with more comics that are on Final Order Cutoff this Monday, May 12th. A lot of fun ones. Dynamite's got some good follow-ups because I don't know if you had the chance to swing by your local comic shop yet and pick up Captain Planet, but wow, David P. Post did an amazing job with that first issue. You need to reach, like, the second we're done with this show, wait until you watch the show, but then rush out to your local comic shop if you didn't already grab number one. And then, of course, while you're picking up number one, get that pre-order in for issue number 2, because this is a great modern take on Captain Planet. Just unbelievable storytelling and artwork. I am loving watching this team grow. I mean, it makes me want to put a ring on that gives me the power of heart. Jay, I mean, you were around for the original Captain Planet cartoons. Like, is this not an exciting time to be alive? Like the nostalgia filler?
It really is. I was telling someone the other day that reviewed this book on Minute to Skim It. Her name's Shanice, and I was telling her, I was like, I was 8 years old when Captain Planet came out in 1990. I love this show so much, and I haven't read it. I have it digital. I have not read it yet, but from folks that are around my age group, the 40s, they're saying that it's kind of an introductory issue, the first issue, which I'm fine with. You know, you got to have something to build on. You got to reach those people that, you know, maybe weren't around when the cartoon was out to know a whole lot about it. So I'm really excited to dig into it, man. It's just 80s nostalgia has just been hot this year, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, it kills me to think there's people young enough that weren't around, but that is a very strong reality when I look at how gray my beard is getting. But yeah, no, I mean, even if you weren't around, like, especially with the younger generation becoming much more, you know, involved and aware of societal situations and the state of, you know, climate change and all that, this is a perfect book if you want that topic. If you're not familiar with Captain Planet, become familiar with this amazing series. And I mean, even even if that's not your thing, you don't like the politics or environment. This is a great, well written story that David Pepos has put together of just action and fun. And I mean, let's be honest, Captain Planet with a beard, 10 times cooler than Captain Planet that was ever in the '90s.
That is 100% true. And y'all, David Pepos on Space Ghost, the way he turned me into a fan of Space Ghost, since that was one of the ones I missed out on as a kid for some reason. His writing, I'm telling you, he's gonna do something terrific with this. I can feel it.
Well, and I mean that's our moment to be a little bit younger. Is like, look, 8 years old when Captain Planet came out. You weren't alive for Space Ghost in the '60s and '70s. I think that I nailed that right. '60s and '70s. I mean, I loved watching the reruns, but I don't think I was there for the live or for the original airing. But yeah, oh, Captain Planet. And Nikki over at Dynamite has more than that. What does he else he have? Red Sonja attacks Mars, giving you all the love of Mars Attacks with the incredible Red Sonja. We have the film coming out, I think, later this year. Beautiful Jay Lee cover right there. And the coolest thing about these is all of the Red Sonja Attacks Mars books comes polybagged with, for you '80s Mars Attack fans, a card of the cover. So you're getting the Mars Attack fun of having a trading card along with the awesomeness of a new comic as Red Sonja puts those Martians in spot, showing that not only can you come from a red planet, you still can't defeat Red Sonja. We have that. Thundercats continuing on that '80s nostalgia fun. I love the Swords Up cover. Anytime we get those Swords Up covers, like that's always fun. But I also want to, point out for you Thundercats fans, if you're an '80s fan that's loving nostalgia, look at that TMNT homage that Ken Hazer is bringing. All the fun of a TMNT #1 with a little bit of Thundercats craziness. So I'm excited about that. I don't know, Jay. Is that not dragging you in? Kicking.
Oh yeah, dude. I haven't. I'm a little behind on Thundercats, but I can tell everybody this: all three Thundercats that Dynamite has put out, whether it's this, Chitara, Thundercats Lost. I haven't read a lot of Apex, so I can't say much on that. All three of them have been fantastic. It's not only that nostalgic feel, but the story is just different enough to where it doesn't feel like you're reading a rehash of the cartoon. So if you haven't been reading Thundercats, I'm telling you to jump on it because it is fantastic. Declan Shalvey has done a terrific job on this book too. And that Ken Hazer, usually I'm like, there's only so many times you can homage something, unless to me you're Ken Hazer. You can do this cover on anything all day.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ken is really just, I mean, from the early days of him just doing remarks and sketches on Dynamic Forces books to the point where he is now just this brilliant published cover artist. I am loving Ken's, evolution and just overall brilliance in artwork. So exciting.
Watching him do covers and commission pieces live is sorcery, okay? Because he doesn't use many reference pics, if any at all. He's colorblind. Yeah, there's been a lot of colorists out there that have been colorblind, but the way Ken does things, it's sorcery, straight up sorcery. I'm telling you.
I had no idea he was colorblind because, man, I own some wonderful pieces that he has, drawn. I unfortunately never had the honor of meeting him or seeing any of this live, but wow, I can't imagine some of the brilliance that comes out of those hands, and he's colorblind. That's crazy awesome. Yeah. Well, there you go. So we learn something new on FOC every week, and sometimes it's not just the comics on Final Order Cutoff. But lots of fun to be had. Make sure you get your Dynamite orders in. Let's go to the rest of the world of comics as we reach the indie comics and graphic novel section. And a big one for me, if we're talking about modern cartoons, you don't get better than Pendleton Ward's Adventure Time. So second printings of issue #1 and issue #2 available. So you can dive in if you missed out on the Adventure Time books. For retailers, there's some great opportunities. You're going to want to look at your local distributor, your preferred distributors for Oni. to take advantage of that. But it is well worth stocking up, because I honestly can say this is the highest time of Adventure Time sales I've ever had. I remember Adventure Time at other publishers, and this is a whole other level right now. So I am hyped on that. Meanwhile, James Tynion fans, Tate Bromble fans, The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos returns to Dark Horse with a brand new series, Children of the Night. This is a wonderful one, particularly for those who are looking for some good books to spotlight in June for Pride Month. This has been an awesome series. I think it's got a great all ages readership, and I am excited to see it back on the stands. So that'll be fun. But if you're looking for something chaotic that isn't oddly pedestrian, Keen Spot has a new one in Dreadmutt. Set in a dark future where people are splicing animal genes with their own, you're getting a 1980s action thriller with Dreadmutt in a very taken variety, as our protagonist has to go and retrieve a young girl who has been kidnapped by a bunch of overly muscular animal human mixes. So crazy, goofy 80s fun, in over the top action hybrid insanity. It was just an out there book. It is an out there goofy book. $6 and you can grab Dreadmutt. But definitely one to reach out to your local retailer and let them know if you want.
That cover alone would grab my attention.
Oh, and it is not the only cover. Let's take a look at the other covers there. I mean, there is some insanity there. I personally like the Hosner cover. I got to show off here.
Oh wow!
But the 1980s screaming VHS cover. Just
These covers are great, man. Oh wow, yeah.
But speaking of covers, if you're a fan of covers, it is it is just a fact that Zenescope has been doing stunning, sexy, crazy fantasy covers over the past 20 years. And now we have a Grimm Fairy Tales 20th anniversary cover gallery showing off some of the best covers of the past 2 decades. And with J. Scott Campbell having done some of the early, covers of that company, and now we get a J. Scott Campbell cover, that's a must own for me. Like, look, we're in an era where I have to be honest, not a lot of people are always opening up their comics. They're buying these covers like they're trading cards or prints. And I get it. I fall into that every now and then. I love opening up a book and reading its incredible sequential art. It's why we'll often have a lot of great writers as the people we interview here. But man, there are some stunning cover artists out there. From Campbell to Art Germ, Dave Finch, Peach Momoko, Eric Gist, and more. But this is a cool one because this collects a book of just those amazing covers you can flip through, because a lot of those times we can't afford to grab those Art German, J. Scott Campbell covers. This has it all in there. I love it. I'm excited. I'm going to flip through this a million times until my book falls apart. And I love that I can get the cover not only with Scott inside, but on the cover. So that is going to be a really, really cool one for anybody who loves all those sexy and amazing Grimm Fairy Tale covers. There's a couple different options there. You can get Al Rio, Maria Sanapoa, and more. But yeah, something to keep in mind, the Grimm Fairy Tales 20th anniversary cover gallery. But yeah, a lot of crazy Zenescope fun. Continuing titles like Huck. We haven't got Huck Volume 2, Issue number 1 on stands yet, but you might want to, if you know you're going to be after it, let your shop know you want issue number 2. One of those unfortunate moments for retailers. Sometimes we have to finalize our orders for issues number 2 or 3 before issue number 1 hits stands. Always makes our lives easier when you guys, as the consumer, let your local comic shop know, hey, I know that I haven't read issue number 1 of the new Huck series, but I know I'm all in for it. So, a lot of fun. A lot of confusion. It's the state of the comic book industry nowadays. It's getting your orders to your retailer makes their life easier. Another big one I need to point out, though, the final issue of Star Trek from the current creative teams of Christopher Cantwell, Jackson Lansing, and Colin Kelly. As Star Trek Defiant and Star Trek the main title come to an end, Star Trek Omega will be the big wrap up on that. There is definitely more to be had from the Star Trek universe that will be announced later this summer, but make sure you do not miss that wonderful end cap with this one shot right there. Now, things that may have come to an end but are not over yet. If you or maybe someone in your family has been watching Skull Island on Netflix, it has been a super action packed, an epic bit of King Kong legendary lore, and it is back in comic form. Return to Skull Island continues the Netflix series. Having got a quick read of it, you don't need to have watched the Netflix series. I recommend it. It is my son's favorite cartoon currently coming out on Netflix. But Return to Skull Island will give us more Kong, more legendary epicness with giant, big, frightful monsters and the various kids and adults that are trying to survive on Skull Island. Kong versus a Kraken. I mean, do I need to say more? So this is going to be an awesome one. I am looking forward to reading this with my son. I'm sure there's a lot of kids who are loving the cartoon who will be excited to know it's not over and they can get it more in sequential art form. And there's probably quite a number of adults who are loving it too. So Return to Skull Island with this new 4-issue miniseries done by Simon Furman over at Titan. I think that's exciting. But if you want something that's far more adult, far more mature, if you're one of the people who are waiting for Troma's big Toxic Avengers film finally hitting theaters this August, Toxie is back and he is teaming up with some unexpected people. Starting with issue number 1 of a 5-issue miniseries from Mark Russell, Toxie is teaming up with Jesus. Yes, Jesus and the Toxic Avenger. I don't think you get more Troma than that. Like it's a pairing you wouldn't expect. I mean, we didn't think we were going to get a American Pope this past week, but now we have a Troma crossover with Jesus Christ himself.
This is going to stir up some controversy. I can already tell, but I'm here for it, man. The Second Coming book is actually awesome. We have it. I don't think I've laughed so hard in a horror comic in a long time. And the Toxic Avenger one that they've been doing, I read the first issue and I was like, pretty mild for what I thought it was going to be, but the issues after started ramping up the violence and stuff a little bit more, felt more Troma-like. So I'm super down for this one. This just is the most odd couple pairing I think I could have ever thought of.
Yeah, I don't think I would have ever put on my bingo card for, we've been doing the bingo card since 2020 onward of just chaos you will never see coming. 2025, Jesus and Toxic Avenger in the year that Toxic Avenger gets a brand new Peter Dinklage, Elijah Wood movie. This is going to be fun. Mark Russell obviously knocked it out of the park with Second Coming, where Jesus comes back and sees a world of superheroes. Now he's got to deal with a world of Troma, and that's going to be something else. So go ahoy! Really, you just you find the line and you dive over it head first with no sight of water to be had. So that'll be an interesting one. But then if you need something much lighter, much more all ages, don't worry, Archie has you covered with a facsimile edition of Veronica 202, perfectly timed for Pride Month. It is the first appearance of Kevin Keller, Riverdale's wonderfully first openly gay character. I say openly gay. It's hard to say if there was more before that. But Veronica 202 getting a nice reprint. And I mean, it was a delightful time because, yeah, you remember when that first came out, I think Betty and Veronica were not aware of where Kevin was lying. And I love that cover right there of "Sorry, Archie, we're over." Was a very different time when that book originally released about 20 years ago. Very excited to have that. But again, you can see everything on FOC at previewsworld.com/final orders due. Look it over. Let your local retailer know what books you want, what covers you want. I think it's time we pop over to Lunar Distribution to look at some of what DC has to offer. So remember, you can go to lunardistribution.com. You'll be greeted with a page like this. You can scroll on down to upcoming FOC. Make sure you're on the right date, May 12th for this week's FOC. as Absolute Batman finally gets a collected edition, and they're not only offering you softcover, but there's a hardcover available as well. $25 for a hardcover, $18 for a softcover. Make sure you let your retailer know what you want. Hardcover, definitely the way to go, because those are, I mean, the soft covers, they're forever. The hard covers are always the collectible one that is awesome. And then you have that nice, thick hardcover that is just going to maintain the test of time on your bookshelf. One of my favorite of the second generation of Absolutes, Absolute Green Lantern, also on FOC this week with issue number 3. Issue number 2 just hit stands earlier this week, along with Absolute Superman. Seems like those two are going to be the pair. I'm curious which of the 3 second generation Absolutes is going to pair with Absolute Wonder Woman and with Absolute Batman. I mean, if it were up to me, I think Absolute Flash, Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Martian Manhunter. But I don't know how you feel on that, Jay. I mean, a lot of intensity with Absolute.
Man, the Absolute universe has just been outstanding. There for me has not been a book yet where I'm like, that's kind of meh. They've all had their own uniqueness to them. And it feels like, and I always get this mixed up, but it feels like the Absolute stuff is like the ultimate universe stuff for Marvel. Like What If is their Elseworlds kind of thing. So I have not yet read Green Lantern, but again, everything I hear about Green Lantern is like I've heard about the other books. It's different and it's awesome. So I'm really excited. I hope they kind of keep going with the Absolute and they introduce new heroes, a new 3 set. But for now, I think the Absolute universe is just crushing it.
All right, I'm going to tell you outright, Jay, as well as everyone else who's watching, if you haven't read Absolute Green Lantern, you got to prioritize that. I'm going to say something sacrilegious right here, but for me, it goes Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Green Lantern, and then Absolute Batman. I know there's a lot of people, probably people in the comments right now yelling, whoa, Absolute Batman isn't number 1. Sorry. I love Absolute Batman. Scott, you're kicking butt with this if you're watching. But Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Green Lantern, and then Absolute Batman. So if you're reading Absolute Batman right now and loving it and you're not reading those other two, you got to go to your local comic shop. Fix this.
That's fair, because I don't think there's any wrong way to put that order, to be honest with you.
Yeah, to be honest, all 6 of the current Absolute titles are, phenomenal. They're great. But Jay, we were just before this show started, we were both taking a moment to watch the Peacemaker trailer. And if you haven't seen the new Peacemaker trailer after this show, you should give it a watch. I'm excited for the 2nd season. But the thing we were both referencing with that and the upcoming Superman movie was the Elite. And it seems like we are not going to be the only ones, because Action Comics 775, the first appearance of the Elite, perhaps one of the greatest standalone single issues of Superman in history, is getting a facsimile edition right here. There is a traditional, there is a foil, there is more. I mean, we were just talking about Lee Bermejo too, so it all themes together on this facsimile edition as you get Doug Mahnke, Joe Kelly, Lee Bermejo, and others on this super impressive standalone issue. Tim Bradstreet, amazing cover in normal and foil edition. We're even going to be getting an action figure version with Manchester Black, and it looks like a sketch cover edition. So,
I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for this. I'm so glad they're reprinting or doing the facsimile. I'm definitely picking it up. I love this story. I lost this comic a long time ago and just never replaced it. So this is a perfect chance for me to pick it back up.
Yeah. I mean, this was always one of the greatest Superman stories ever for me. It is what I constantly point to. It's had animated films, like this is awesome. Actually, I'm in the same boat as you. My house burnt down back in like 2006. That was it. And I lost my copy. And that was one of the first things I bought was actually the second printing of Action Comics 775. It took me a while to find the first printing again. I own both, but I'm still, I have a first printing, a second printing, and I'm still going for the facsimile.
Yeah. Oh man. And the Superman versus the Elite DCAU movie is my wife's favorite movie out of all of those. She loves that movie.
It is brilliant. Yeah. So definitely, if you have not, for any reason, ever read Action Comics 775, go grab a facsimile when it comes out. Let your local comic shop know you need the facsimile, especially if you want like the foil cover, the action figure cover. I can tell you, I mean, I own a first and a second printing. I'm probably not going to get the traditional, but I'm 100% getting a foil copy and the action figure copy that Jason Gayer has put together, because that is the action figure I never knew I needed. I want that Manchester Black figure. Awesome stuff. Obviously, you can see the Adventure Time second printings again in there. A lot of fun to be had. Facsimiles of Batman. So many great DC books. Make sure you go to lunardistribution.com and take a look at all these awesome comics and covers that DC, Image, and others are going to be offering through Lunar Distribution. If you're a retailer, this is obviously one of the big distributors you're now using. But if you're a consumer, make sure you always take a look at lunardistribution.com so you can see all these great books and covers. George Perez, the late, great, legendary George Perez, has that awesome Birds of Prey cover right there, posthumously coming out. I always loved George Perez. One of my good friends and another comic creator and publisher used to always define, when he makes decisions in comics, he asks himself, what would George Perez do? Because whatever George Perez would do was always one of the best choices in comics. He was one of the nicest human beings. He always stayed extra for his fans, did a ton of great favors, made great artwork and great decisions, no matter what publisher he was with, no matter what convention he was boothing at. George Perez, just awesome. Did you ever get a chance to meet George Perez, Jay?
No, it's one of those things, much like Stan Lee, I just never got the opportunity. Those were two people that I wanted to, but just timing never worked out. But hearing the stories about both of them, about especially George Perez, hearing Nick tell stories about him is just seemed like a really stand-up guy, and just a huge loss for folks and comic fans in general. So yeah, but I'm a big fan of his artwork and his stuff too. So
yeah, no, absolutely wonderful human being. I've always loved his art. I mean, I grew up on his New Teen Titans, and I mean, yeah, just I could do an entire show just on my handful of stories with George Perez, and maybe that's a show for another time. But yeah, awesome dude. Lighter news. I know if nothing else, my fiance is going to point out like these incredible Doctor Who shirts that are on FOC. I think this is the first time we've had shirts offered through Lunar Distribution. I hope it's not the last time. I know I'm personally going after the David Tennant Alonzi shirt.
Putting the Cybermen next to the Daleks is marketing genius.
Yeah. Everything about it. So Doctor Who fans, great time to reach out to your local comic shop, get a shirt in there. I believe these are Titan putting these out, and they are awesome. Just awesome Doctor Who pieces. All right. One big one I need to point out. I mean, a lot of things that I'm seeing that we'll be talking about very briefly in our top 10, but we had the final issue of Justice League, the Atom Project, which is amazing. JSA on there, but here's the big one. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, Volume 2. Brian Buccellato is back, and he's bringing the Justice League to the legendary Earth once more as Amanda Waller. Amanda, just the manipulator behind the scenes, is going to make a modified Task Force X with giant kaiju titans. And I cannot imagine Suicide Squad putting together these giant monsters. Like, I mean, we've seen this go bad in Toho before. Mecha Godzilla and others, it never ends well. But the Justice League going to get Godzilla and King Kong to deal with the combat of this. This is going to be crazy. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong Volume 1 sold out countless times, had an unbelievable amount of printings. Everyone wanted this book, and it's the same creative team coming back for a second volume. Don't miss out on this. Let your local comic shop know you want this. Whether you want the incredible Dan Mora covers, Alan Quah, Gabriel Hardman, or others, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be giant, kaiju size, and then look at King Ghidorah right there. Does it get better? I mean, Jay, I'm asking you specifically. Does it get better?
And a Dan Mora cover too. I mean, oh, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and look, you got Peacemaker hiding down there. Part of Task Force X. Like, I love the Task Force X that Brian has assembled here. It literally is some of my favorite members of the Suicide Squad. So this is going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of other great ones coming out, as you can see. Remember, you can go to Lunar Distribution and see all of this. But another big one I have to point out, the final issue of Pop Kill. We had Jimmy Palmiotti on the show a few months back to promote this. This is insanity. It's Coca-Cola versus Pepsi in a unbelievable corporate espionage, James Bond-esque warfare between two major soda companies that are rival companies and rival brothers as these billionaires feud. This finale is going to be amazing. I think this is my best-selling Mad Cave book. I don't know if your local comic shop feels that way, but if they're not ordering this, you need to reach out to them and let them know you need a copy, because Pop Kill has been unbelievable. And I really hope to God that Jimmy Palmiotti and Jave Johnson come back for a second volume with this. I cannot wait to read the finale. This has been fun. Great covers available. There is a cover you can't see here we're going to be talking about soon on our top 10, but a lot of great books there. Obviously, a lot of fun to be had. Different, Godzilla in 2 different books on 2 different publishers on FOC this week. Another big one I got to bring up is the return of Sixth Gun from Oni. Cullen Bunn is back with a one-shot that hopefully will lead to a relaunch Sixth Gun series, Sixth Gun Road to the Six. This was an amazing, amazing ongoing series that went for, I want to say, almost 60 issues about a decade and a half ago. Oh, literally a decade and a half ago. It is the 15th anniversary, as you can see there, 15th anniversary of Sixth Gun. I'm excited for this. This was an epic that was the talk of indie comic publishing. It was one of Oni's biggest books at the time, 15 years ago, and I am super excited to have them back. And I'm hoping a lot of people will discover this, grab trade paperbacks, and catch up on Sixth Gun with this. Did you ever read Sixth Gun, Jay?
I missed out on this one, but I just put it on my list to look for.
There you go. Using the show the way it's meant to be. Thank you, Jay. Get it on your list. Reach out to your local comic shop. This is going to be awesome. And a 1-in-10 ratio variant. Not every shop will be getting it, but man, Matt Kent doing that Sixth Gun cover. I am all in on that. May not be DC, but I am all in on it. A lot of fun to be had there. You can see it all once again by checking out lunardistribution.com. A lot of great covers, but I think it's time we cut away from that to talk the top 10. What do you say on that, Jay?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me get this set up here. And
so remember, Monday, May 12th, here's our top 10 big books. And we're going to start off with that wonderful Rion Gonzalez cover of Birds of Prey. I think that these little paper doll covers have been amazing. I know they've been hot sellers. And then Big Barda bringing a big way, because that's the biggest paper doll you're ever going to get. And I love the little chibi versions. As if the paper doll wasn't enough, Rion has added chibi versions of Big Barda. Big Barda in space, Big Barda traditional. It's Little Big Barda. Do we want to call it that? Little Big Barda?
Bit of an oxymoron, but yeah, but these need to be stickers.
Oh, I would kill for it. Yeah. So it's funny because Rion Gonzalez actually over at Wizards of the Coast with Magic the Gathering did stickers, like little chibi stickers. So maybe someone at DC will pick up on that and we'll get those. Hitting number 9. It's rare that I ever put a ratio variant on this, but G.I. Joe Real American Heroes issue 317 has one of the best covers since they moved to Skybound, with Francis Portella's 1-in-10 ratio variant. Once again, not every comic shop will always be getting this. There's a reason why, even back in the IDW days, the 1-in-10 ratio variants for G.I. Joe go for a huge amount on the aftermarket. I can only fathom what the aftermarket is going to do on this. But if your local comic shop, for any reason, is getting this ratio variant, this is going to be a hot one. Skybound, Arun, Robert, Sean, everyone over there, if you're watching this show, please do a second printing of G.I. Joe Real American Hero 317 with an open order version of this. This is a beautiful cover that I think will drive people to grab it. Scarlet just absolutely looks amazing. Francis Portella, if for any reason this gets to you, this is a masterpiece cover. I hope that you do this across the board. I know that we've been seeing people like David Nakayama and John Tyler Christopher doing these color bleed covers. Even I believe Craig Rousseau over at Dynamite doing them on various things. But wow, this cover. Wow. Then we hit in spot 8, E.G. Curry doing that incredible Carolina cover of Runaways #1. I love how this just fills the cover. You're getting minimal trade dress and logos on there, but it is still got everything you want. Whether it's the designers figuring out how to get everything that you need on that cover while still having that full E.G. Curry piece. That is awesome. I am so hyped for the new Runaways under Rainbow Rowell, but the E.G. Curry cover is going to be my favorite.
Has a very magical girl kind of feel to it.
It does. It really does. Well, I mean, and Carolina is your magical girl of the Runaways, too. So perfect pull. Now, here's a weird one. This is the first time I've had an absolute edition hit the top 10. They're doing an absolute Death of Superman that is going to have all of the lead up to the big Superman 75 Death of. You're going to have everything with extra back matter and content in a large, oversized hardcover. But here's the cool part, and this is why it's important to reach out to your local comic shop. You can get the absolute edition anywhere, but you have to go to the direct market, your local comic shop, to get this variant. The Tombstone Direct Market Edition, you have the literal tombstone of Superman doing that black bag, hidden variant of Superman 75, now brought to life in a physical form. The slipcase is the tombstone of Superman. I don't think I have ever seen such a cool tie-in. I mean, this is awesome. It is going to be $25 more than the mass market version of the Absolute Edition of Superman, but it is well worth it for this, like literal gravestone of Clark Kent, Kal-El, Superman himself. I own every issue. I own multiple editions of the trade and hardcover, The Death of Superman. But man, I am buying this direct market exclusive Absolute Superman. Dude, that is awesome.
Same. I have anything that has to do with the storyline. I have the hardcover. I have the anniversary editions. I have the trade. I have the most of the single issues. The stuff after it. A World Without Superman. I've got. Yeah, this is definitely getting picked up. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, a huge shout out to DC making this exclusive to the direct market. So you have to go to your local comic shop. This is not something you buy on Amazon, you pick up at Barnes & Noble. You have to go to the local comic shop, your local comic shop. So let them know in advance, because I fear this is going to sell out instantly. It won't be something that gets a reprint. It is a little bit pricier, so your average comic shop is not going to probably order it unless you request it. But man, you need that on your bookshelf. That's going right there on my bookshelf. That's a must-have. Not my bookshelf, bed frame right there, but still, it's going right there. You will see that in a few months in the background of the show. All right, let's get to number 6. Giant-sized Dark Phoenix. Look at that incredible Ivan Talavera cover. The Black Queen of the Hellfire Club right there. Wow. Wow, that is a cover. Oof. It's almost too much. So we got to the top 5, Jay?
Let's do it. Here we go.
Return to Skull Island. Oh, my son will lose it when he sees this cover. King Kong fighting the Kraken. In-Hyuk Lee doing that unbelievable cover as you just see the tentacles wrapping around Kong. He has taken the fist to the fish, or I guess squid in this case. That is an awesome cover. I think it's going to get people who have never even seen this. It's going to be cool to see this happen in reverse. It's going to lead people in the comic shop going to Netflix and watching watching Skull Island. And I hope that is not the first time or the last time that happens. I want to see people go grab a comic and be like, I need to go check out this TV show or movie. This is awesome. No other comment. Greg Capullo doing an amazing Spider-Man cover featuring the Fantastic Four and more. Kevin Smith, Chip Zdarsky, Al Ewing. This is an all-star book. It, of course, deserves to be at number 4. And, I don't even need to explain it more than that. Marvel Rivals, one of the hottest video games, and now going to be one of the hottest comics in Marvel Rivals Ignite. Peach Momoko writing and drawing interiors, but the cover that wins it for me is Toki Tokoro. Toki Tokoro did a stunning piece there with Luna Snow in this new costume. I think this is gonna be a crazy one. This is gonna be on fire. Watch the aftermarket on this. Make this a double-digit book instantly. Now here's the big one. We can't even show you it because I haven't even seen it. I've been reaching out to Mad Cave. They're scrambling trying to get me this cover. They weren't able to get it to us in time for the live broadcast. But J. Scott Campbell, yes, J. Scott Campbell himself doing a explicit, risque cover for the final issue of Pop Kill. Now, we've had some risque covers on Pop Kill, everyone from Dan Panozzi and Adam Hughes and more. They have all blown up on the aftermarket. They've all been high demand. I've had retailers talk to me about how this surprised them, even though we talked about this on the show with issue number 1 when we had Jimmy Palmiotti as a guest. These have been big covers on all 3 issues out so far. J. Scott Campbell for issue number 4, I think it's going to be weird, but I would think the issue number 4 sales are going to exceed issues 1, 2, and 3. And we don't even know what the cover looks like, and we're talking it up. We don't know what the cover looks like, and this is number 2 on the top 10. Just the sheer artist alone, J. Scott Campbell, with the content, knowing it is going to be an explicit, mature book with all of that pop cola craziness that these last 3 issues have been. I mean, Jay, sight unseen, tell me you're not going to be ordering that cover.
That and the rest of the series. I've gotten to read the first one. I have yet to read the rest of it. I'm kind of if I like the first issue, I usually wait until it's traded. But this one's got me so curious because it's not released. I'm going to have to get it.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, I definitely understand binging miniseries. I'll do that every now and then. I'll probably do it, even though I've been reading it, month by month from Pop Kill. I'll get issues 1 through 4, laugh my ass off with the reread of all 4 issues back to back. But man, I like it. I'm getting excited over a cover I can't see. It is a cover we cannot see. I have not, I don't have some insider, bit where I got to see this before I chose it. I just read what it is. This is cover C of Pop Kill, issue number 4. J. Scott Campbell, reach out to your local comic shop. Let them know, sight unseen, you need this book. It will be bagged, so maybe we won't even see it on stands. You'll have to wait to open it when you get it home. But J. Scott Campbell, explicit, risque Pop Kill number 4 variant. Definitely let your comic shop know, because without ordering or without seeing the covers, there's a lot of comic shops out there that if they can't see the covers, they order subs or subscriptions or pre-orders only. Sometimes they don't order any for the wall. You're going to want to let them know this is going to be a big one. This is going to be a big one. But the question becomes then, what could possibly be number 1 after that big hype and talk up? Will Spertasio. I love that I've got to say Wilsh's name this many times on the show. I love him. He is a Southern California local, great artist, great father, great man, and one of the Image founders. He is back at Marvel doing an homage. I like that it's a spoiler. It's actually listed, as you see there, a spoiler homage. But thanks to the big reveal from from New Thunderbolts to New Avengers, we get to finally reveal it. It is an homage to New Avengers number 1, Dark Avengers number 1. They've all done this big one. Now, New Avengers back. Will Spertasio doing that David Finch piece right there. Alex Sinclair coloring it. It looks amazing. Look at that team. From Hulk to Namor, Natasha to Bucky, Eddie Brock as Carnage. You've got Laura Kinney as Wolverine. Clea, sorcerer pseudo supreme. I guess Doctor Doom still holds that title, but one way or another, this is going to be a book. Sam talked it up. I mean, if you're not already putting it on your polls, I hope this #1 spot Will Spertasio cover does it for you. This is going to be the big book. I have not been this excited for an Avengers book in well over a decade. Sam has me all in on this. This is going to be awesome. Easily the #1 for the week. Let your local comic shop know you need new Avengers, not new Thunderbolts, new Avengers #1. Perhaps that Will Spertasio spoiler cover is the one you're going to be walking away with. Let them know if that's the one you want. But man, whew, that's a big one. Jay, I mean, did it make it to your list? Is this going on your FOC list for your local comic shop?
The way Sam talked it up, it just might. The last kind of new Avengers stuff I read wasn't even new Avengers. It was Dark Avengers after Siege.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, the way he talked this up though, yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking this one out.
All right, let's see if we got Kyle's not with us right now, but hopefully we'll even hear Kyle on some upcoming EXP show saying, I think I have to do it. I'm hoping those are going to be the words verbatim that I get out of Kyle. I think I got to get the new Avengers, but we'll have to see. But in case you want to hear that line, hopefully it happens. Jay, what else do we have coming up on the EXP over the next week?
So after a little bit of a break, when we're done here at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, you got original art with Nick Barucci. Come for the art, stay for the stories. We have such a fun time on that show. The art, to me, the art is kind of secondary to Nick. Nick won't believe that when I tell him that, but it's great art. There's some high dollar pieces there are, but he also tries to bring some affordable stuff in for new collectors to get you hooked. Trust me. They have a guy named Jeff that works for them. He bought one piece and he was hooked. Now he's all about getting original art. So be sure you check that out. Then at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, join the folks from Comics Unlimited, Nancy McCann and Dawn, for Friday Night Live. Then I'm not sure we're doing Kyle might be doing a sales show over the week, Sunday. Not sure what time. And then Monday, and I don't think I have the thumbnail in here, but we are going, yes I do, here we go. We are going to have the folks from Recca, as soon as it loads, are going to be on Talking Shop with Miss Jen, talking about the future is Asterix, and it's not going to be New Avengers, folks. That's going to be at 5.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. That's going to be at 5 Eastern, 4 Central. Talking Shop is kind of a show that when we have somebody big on, we really start pushing it the week before. This is going to be huge. There is a lot of buzz going around this book. The experience is going to be having the first hardcovers on the shows all next week that you can buy here on the experience before they're released other places.
Yeah, so the hardcovers I want to point out on that are different from what you're going to be getting at your local comic shop. You'll be getting that beautiful Jay Lee trade paperback you see on the right. On the image you saw on the left was the hardcover that was initially a limited run. So you'll be able to pick those up potentially on the experience, probably at a very, very good price that you won't be able to find elsewhere. But yeah, we had these guys actually on the show a few weeks ago. I am so excited. Like, I've read the first few issues of this book. I'm so excited to have them again in the much better version that you can get at your local comic shop. I mean, Jay Lee on the cover. It's going to be awesome. So go to your local comic shop. If you can already get the FOC in there, tell them like, hey, I apologize I didn't get an FOC, but I heard this is going to be the coolest comic about the future imaginable, because it is. It's a dark dystopian future, but it's a book filled with hope, and it teaches you how to hack. I don't understand technology at all. Everything in my house is wood. I'm actually literally just, holding a magical sphere on the other side of this and, just confused at how like the hamsters and the wheels are spinning and you broadcast me onto the stream. But I now know how to hack things because of that comic. And that's a weird concept. Never in my life would this Luddite human being over here thought he could say to somebody, but the comic taught me how to hack, and it's kind of cool. I really, really love it.
Super interesting concept. I can tell you this. Issue 1 will be 1337, and all the issues following are 404. Now, if you're a computer nerd, you understand both of those numbers and why they chose them.
It's a little leech, but I don't know that I can find the answer.
Yeah. And then following on Monday at 6 Eastern, 5 Central will be Comic Collectibles with Rex, John, and Rock and Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers. Then at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, we're going to have Best Coast Comics with Bronze Age Nerd and Bigby McFly. So be sure to tune in all week. There's always great stuff going on, including this show, which is early, but you need to set a reminder because this is a very fun show. This is my 3rd or 4th time watching it. Always have a great time. So,
oh yeah, I mean, and a reminder: this show not only important live, you can watch this over and over. So please share this show on your social media. Get it in front of your friends who like comics or might like comics. Let them know, that they can reach out to their local comic shop to order any of the books that we've talked about. All these books are available through the various distributors your local comic shop has access to. And if if your local comic shop isn't aware, make them aware of this show so they can spread it and get more orders in, because this helps everyone. It helps you guarantee you're getting your books. It helps your local comic shop make sure that they have the books that you want. And it makes the creators and publishers have the books out there so people can read them. That is our goal always. We want people reading books. Maybe they're just also collecting books and they get the covers they want. But one way or another, the purpose of this show is to make sure everyone has access to the things they want, whether it's the consumer, the local comic shop, the publisher, the creators. So please, the biggest way you can help, like we're trying to help, is to spread this show around so everyone gets their orders in, everyone gets the comics they need, and all those comics get out into the hands of the people who will enjoy them. I mean, I couldn't do this without the incredible producers of Kyle and Jay, so massive thanks to Jay. And obviously, it wouldn't be worth us doing if it wasn't for the people like you viewing it and getting your orders into your local comic shop. So huge thanks to you all as well. All right. We'll be back next week. Once again, a huge shout out. Thanks to Jay for producing this show. We'll see you guys next Friday.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.